Alf, top of the morning to you, friends. Good to see you all. Today we have an exciting episode, a conversation with Rick Probstein. He is starting a live selling app that is going to be very interesting, different than the other companies that we see in the space. We're going to have a conversation about it. He spills the beans. Got some new context today around his new company, Bid. Before we get to the conversation, huge thanks to those that are using the PSA code, the SCD25 for first-time submitters. SCD25 promo code gets you $25 off your first submission over at PSA. One card minimum to take advantage of this offer. Also, Card Capsule. Not only great prices for Card Capsule cases, but high quality, waterproof cases. Very important. We've got promo codes down in the video description to take a few bucks off for you over at Card Capsule. Semi-rigids, top loaders, all the supplies that you need. You've got a collection, you're trying to sell some or all of it, justcollect.com's got an easy appraisal form over there on their website. Make sure to take advantage. They can very easily give you an idea of what that collection is worth. Finally, last but not least, make sure to display your best cards in fashion with the SlabMags, 10% off your total order with the Sports Card Dad promo code. We've had a lot of people buying SlabMags lately, and it's because it's protecting the surface of the card. And if you have auto cards, last thing we need are autos fading in those slabs. All right, friends. Frank, are we ready to roll this thing? Hit it. Frank, thank you. Welcome back to another episode of the Sports Card Dad. I'm excited today. This is actually the first time I have ever met the man, the myth, the legend. It's Rick Probstein is on the show. He's got an exciting new company that is coming. We're going to talk all about that. Rick, thanks very much for joining me.
Dustin, I really appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much.
So I've been buying cards from you before I ever even knew what Probstein. I don't even know if I was saying Probstein on eBay.
It's Probstein, but they both work.
Everybody's bought cards. You know, I feel like going back to 2018, 19 when I got back into the hobby, it was PWCC on eBay. You'd see all the time, and it was Probstein, like over and over and over. Yeah. And then now, you know, obviously as the years go on, you put all this stuff together. So, are you the largest card consigner on eBay currently?
Currently, yes.
Okay.
Currently, yes.
And you have a 20 plus year relationship with eBay. And so we've got this company Bid now that you announced it with Sports Card Madness, Nick and LZ and those guys. What prompted you to start Bid? You know, because it's obviously a huge undertaking. Then when I listened to you talking, it was like a massive undertaking. So how did this happen?
Yeah. So I'm still on eBay. I'm still selling on eBay. I still have a great relationship with eBay, just so there's no confusion. This is a side project that, you know, is currently going to be on its own. One day it might go back into the eBay ecosystem, but currently it's going to be outside. What got me going is I have 130,000 followers on eBay, which I think is the largest amount of followers. And I was having a talk with my manager, and I'm like,
and when you say that, is that save seller, like favorite seller?
Yeah, if people who click save seller. Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
So I think it's the most amount of any seller on eBay. It's a lot of people clicking save seller. And I said, how do I market to them? I want to communicate with them. I want to and she said, well, the only thing you can do is if you sell on the live, you can contact them directly and they'll all get a push. And I was like, you know what? I never in a million years thought that you could sell, you know, decent items, on the live in a 1-minute format or 30-second format. And I tried it. I've now done over 300 shows on eBay Live. And then I quickly found myself as a seller. I felt a little limited and restricted in terms of some of the things. And I'm a business person. So, I mean, I'll go with my kids to the mall and I'll start analyzing a shoe store and why they're going to be out of business in 6 months. It's just how I think. And my mind started quickly running like, well, if Live had this and if they had this and they did it this way, it would be better. And what about this and what about this? And then it just reached a point where I decided that, you know, I was really into it. And I hired a CTO 13 months ago. We chose a development firm rather than hiring all the technologists in-house, which was sort of how things were done when, you know, the .com world started. You hired every single position. Now you can just hire a development firm to do it. So we have a full-time CTO who actually used to work at Beckett, interesting enough. He was the CTO at Beckett. And and he's a great guy. And we started building, and now we're literally just 2 or 3 months away. from
Okay.
finishing and launching.
2 or 3 months away.
Hopefully there won't be any delays, but building an enterprise software system it's a massive undergoing.
Oh, I'm sure.
And one of the things we built in addition was sort of the secret sauce of eBay is their affiliate marketing program. So they work with major publishers and they push traffic onto the platform. And if the person buys anything on the platform, even if you send them an email about sports cards and they click on it and they buy a tag watch, the publisher makes money.
Yeah, I'm a part of the program. Probably like, yeah. I know.
Okay, so you know EPN, so we built out an entire affiliate marketing program from scratch. So the way that we're going to sort of different than eBay on that is that eBay is very focused on publishers, professional publishers. They're not really focused on having sellers and bidders a part of such a program. It's not their focal point. We're actually the largest EPN seller on eBay, and we've done very, very well with it. So I understand the program very well. So there will be 23-year-olds out there who will make $90,000 just by pushing traffic onto the platform. So we have a whole process and a whole separate sort of site for affiliate marketing. And that's one of the ways. I mean, we do have the largest database, I'm confident to say, in the industry. But the primary way that we're going to be drawing in traffic, in addition to some of the other new initiatives and verticals that we have, is this very sophisticated affiliate marketing program.
Interesting. My ears just perked up the second you said affiliate. I'm a big fan of affiliate links.
Okay, so good.
That's awesome, man.
You're the first person hearing about this because there's a lot of things that are going on with it that we haven't shared with people yet. So
that's news. So what? And I know the answer to this question a little bit, but when we look at kind of the current players, the biggest ones are Whatnot and Fanatics Live. I know that eBay Live is there, Loop is out there. There's a few out there. What makes Bid different? What's kind of the big differentiator that would bring buyers sellers there?
So there's a lot of differences. The two main differences are if you sell on, let's say, Whatnot on a Sunday night, let's say you go on and you sell 100 items. On Monday, you're shipping 80 packages. With us, they're shipping one package. The second we get the package, we confirm everything. They're paid in full. Done. So
you're kind of like Amazon fulfillment.
Amazon fulfillment model. And then for the bidders, if you go on eBay Live and let's say you win 8 different items in a night, typically you're paying 8 different shipping fees. $5, $5, $5, $5. With us, we're giving you a 30-day window. If you want it after 2 days or 7 days, you can have it sooner. But you're getting a full 30 days. And everything that you buy in the platform, you get one shipping fee.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a huge benefit. I mean, that's a huge time and money saver, especially for the seller's time. That's a tremendous time saver. Okay. And then I also heard, I know you did the other interview with the Sports Card Madness guys. I heard you say something to the effect of it kind of will operate almost like Netflix, to where you go on. I know part of my issue is
the big thing. So I had a lot of different very special live events that I did, where we had 10,000 people in the room and we had, I did it with Darren Ravel and different people. And the number one piece of feedback that I got is like, okay, that was entertaining and that was cool and that was interesting, but you sold 15 items when I was on for 20 minutes and there was not one item that I was interested in. And people's time is precious. And, most people probably, I would say, would say 6 or 10 different things. And this way, let's say you go onto the site and there are, let's say, 500 shows that are scheduled. You can pick out the 6 or 7 shows that interest you, and they vary. They could be anything from T206 cards to a 1965 set break to Caitlin Clark to Pikachu Night to, whatever it is. So initially we're starting, focal point is on collectibles, but eventually we're going to do everything. Handbags, electronics, accessories, etc.
Now, will it always be like a searchable live show, or will the vendor or the shop or whoever, will they have the ability to kind of almost have like buy it now, to where like if they're not
They're
running?
they're gonna have four choices. Well, the one thing that we're doing with Buy It Now, and listen, eBay is a humongous enterprise, and micromanaging people that are posting things is really, really difficult. And I've had dozens of conversations with eBay in terms of how to solve the Buy It Now situation. But basically, Buy It Now has become, and this was every platform, um, the prices are overinflated. Most people, you're getting enough things that are out there that are on auction that you don't really need to go deep diving into Buy It Nows because the prices are overinflated and you're paying above retail typically. So we will have a Buy It Now component, but we will make everything pre-approved, meaning like if you're going to sell cases on there, they have to be accurate market value. There's no 50%, price up because it just messes up search. So everything on Buy It Now will have to be pre-approved.
Now, also, just you mentioned the eBay partner network. Will there also be an element of bid? And you might not be able to share this or not, but will there also be, I guess, searchable stuff back to eBay? From bid. Like, will it be circular or not
No, no,
necessarily?
no. Right now, it's a standalone platform.
Standalone deal. Okay.
So a person's going to really have multiple options. Let's say John Smith in Des Moines, Iowa. He can run regular auctions on the platform. He can run live auctions on the platform. He can do buy it nows. They're going to be pre-approved by us. Or he can use Probstein, which would be a consigner on bid. Or he can use this, to do regular consignments or live. So you really have 4 or 5 different options. One of the things that we're going to have as a feature is that we're going to basically promoting all the consigners. There will be a period of time. Let's say you're going to produce, Dustin's going to produce the Caitlin Clark show, right? And you pre-scheduled for an hour, 18 items, and they're all great items. Somebody might say to themselves, you know what? I have a really good Caitlin Clark item. I'd love to add it to the show. So we're going to have a piggyback program where people who don't necessarily have enough items to have a show, they can contact the items, the consigners that have a scheduled show, and they can then work with them directly, and then you can add items to your show and make additional money as a consigner.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And okay. Wow, that is interesting. Okay.
So let's say I do like everybody knows I have tons of bobbleheads. So let's say I'm doing a special bobblehead show and it's scheduled, and somebody's like, you know what? I only have one bobblehead. I'd like to get rid of it. Let me add it to the show and call it a day. So people will have the ability, there'll be a small time frame where people can search of shows that are coming, but not in the live format yet. And they can contact the sellers and work with them directly in terms of adding items to the show. We're calling it a piggyback program.
Okay. Beautiful stuff. Okay. What about, so I know Probstein as a single seller. You're the largest single seller or sealed product seller, one of the most heavy sellers on the planet for this stuff. What about when I think about a Whatnot or when I think about a Fanatics Live, I think about breaks and repacks. I think about kind of more of the, those types of products. Is bid also going to have kind of a similar function where there's the live, the breaks and the repacks and that sort of a thing? Or
so there will be breaking. The breaking is going to be secondary for us. So there's going to be different criteria in order to have a studio. I've gone on everybody's lives. I could write I could write a thesis on everybody's programs, their strengths, their weaknesses, everything they do. The one thing that we will not have, you will not see hands and an item and somebody talking in the background. Everybody will have a studio. Everybody will have a person that is sort of your celebrity of the show that people are interacting with. And they won't just be this like showing items and hands. And the other thing that we won't have is there's going to be price minimums on everything. So in terms of the auctions, your time won't be wasted with $18 items. You're only going to see high quality items. And some of the other platforms, they don't really have a restriction. So you're really dealing with a lot of their auction time frame is shorter sometimes. They'll run a 15-second auction on a $10 card, and their hope is that it'll sell for $20, and they're really killing it. We're not getting involved with all that nonsense. We believe that that there's a place for higher-end collectibles in the live format.
Okay. Will there be any sort of trying to think about the best way to put it. Any sort of guardrails or age verification for this sort of stuff? Have you thought about any of that? Is there going to be anything, I guess, you proactively do? I know there's not necessarily things that you have to do, but
I mean,
anything.
there will be things that you can't sell. I mean, we will not get
Sure.
involved with, nudity or anything that's inappropriate. There will be guidelines with that. And also there'll be guidelines. I mean, I know this is a hot topic right now with, the drama that happened with whatnot, but we will have guidelines in terms of, having criteria that people need to sort of live up to. And there will be sort of like a PG-13 standard. We're not having the guys taking off their shirts and dropping F-bombs.
So there won't necessarily be like an R-rated section and a PG-13 rated section necessarily on
There
the.
won't be anything on the site that's going to be, we're going to micromanage the talent, and there'll be criteria. And just like when you go to the, any level of programming, you know what you're getting involved with, and there will be nothing, inappropriate going on. But at the same time, we view ourselves as an entertainment marketplace, and the focal point of all of our sellers will be to entertain people just as much as they're looking to sell and engage in commerce. They're there primarily to, to entertain. But you can entertain in a way that's appropriate.
Have you thought about whether, and I'm just kind of thinking as you're talking, but content creators, maybe not even necessarily selling anything, but dual, running live, like if I'm going live tonight,
absolutely. No,
I've got my live show on YouTube, and then maybe I'm co-streaming it on a bid, for example.
So we built in the software that we have, where let's say I have somebody who's a Robin Williams like personality, who I think would be a great host selling collectibles. So Robin Williams is doing his thing, but he doesn't know the specifics about a certain item. So we have it built in our software where we can type in information that's sort of like a teleprompter script where nobody will know that he's being fed information about collectibles and he's just doing his thing.
Now, comparatively to, I guess, seller fees and buyer fees on the live streaming platforms, have you thought about running specials or anything with bid? Is there? I know you probably.
Yeah, we're gonna come out very low. We're gonna undercut everybody on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's just what we're gonna do. And then eventually, once it takes hold and everybody sees that, there's a lot of traction and that they can get more money on the platform than in other platforms for the types of products that are going to be successful, then we will at some point end up, taking a look at the fees and readjusting everything, which people will understand that, the platform is going to have to, readjust it. But initially, the fees are going to be fantastic for people. It'll be a no-brainer for people.
Now, how are you going to deal with, I know you already have a large shipping team, and you've talked about, like, that's something you take a lot of pride in, is getting items out, and you've been doing this for a long time. Well, but man, if you're handling, I mean, your volume, assuming bid takes off, you get people, it gets going, your shipping volume is going to dramatically increase. How does that make you feel?
The key is if you have the right technology that's built to handle it, and you have the infrastructure, then it's just a walk in the park. Anybody who's dealt with us knows that there's nobody in the business who ships faster than we do. We're sort of like McDonald's that serves a steak. And we have a factory that's really good at it, and we're actually in the middle of looking for a larger office space right now, and so we can sort of make sure that if there's increased demand, that we can handle it. And short term, since we're selling on eBay this year, we are going to have a program, since bidders on bid are separate than eBay, that we are going to be able to mark items as paid on eBay for people that are what we call super bidders, and then they can just basically pay one shipping fee with their bid account. So we're not going to have the program of the 30 days on eBay, but let's say a guy buys 100 items on eBay from us, because we're still selling $100 million in sales plus a year plus 800,000 items, and a guy's now winning both accounts and he's confused. So we will have the ability of having them pay on eBay, and then they can ship their items with their bid items at the end of the 30-day window.
Can they buy something from Probstein on eBay and then sell it through bid, if they choose to do, like, through a live seller?
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Yeah. Okay. Will you also, you might already even offer this. I'm actually not sure, but I guess to kind of bring it all full circle, being a grading, submitter to where someone buys, do you want to keep it, you want to have the whole thing going where you're, someone
Yeah,
can
so
buy
that is
it?
going to be a part of it. We are doing authenticity of every item that comes in. We will also have the ability that, let's say on a raw card, you want to have a professional. We will tell you that the card is authentic. Okay. But let's say
That's
you want
that's
to have,
Probstein authentic. That's a Probstein thing, not necessarily like a PSA thing.
yeah, we're going to do it in-house. The person that we're using is an ex-professional grader that used to work for one of the major grading companies. And then that would be free. So like level one would be, you'll know that it's authentic. But if you want his opinion in terms of what it's going to grade, or has it been trimmed or altered, or what's going on with the card, then there'll be a small fee that you can pay as an add-on service for raw cards. Obviously, you don't need the service with slab cards, but we will inspect slabs, and if there's some sort of damage to the holder, a crack or a scratch, we will let people know, and they will have the ability to transact or not transact based on the feedback that we're giving them.
Very interesting. Okay. So yeah, this is going to be it's going to be a machine for sure. I want to ask you kind of more of a bigger picture question, just because you've been around long enough. You've been in trading cards. I think you said since you were 12.
Yeah, I've been doing it my whole life.
You've seen it all kind of go. You've seen the ups and the downs, but the last 5 years, I have to assume, just from my vantage point, is the busiest that the hobby has ever been. Is that true? Would you say the last 5 years in terms of interest and money spent?
Oh, I mean, it went from basically collections to investments to, .com like. I mean, obviously everything was related to COVID and Jordan and all that stuff, that happened between 2000, 2021. And a lot of it's rolled back, but there's still we're seeing a lot of strength in the industry overall. I would say the industry, and I've said this before, is very polarized, meaning the best of the best, you're still seeing sell for record prices. And then, base Lucas and base Giannis's and, all those prices are rolling back just because they're just not that special.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely been a flight to quality for sure over the last couple of
But
years.
people are figuring out like what's really something that I should, if you're collecting, it's a different conversation. But even if you're collecting, you still care about the investment value, and people are getting more in tune in terms of like how population import is really important to things. If you're collecting signed vintage cards, if something is the highest graded card or it's pop 2 and there's 3 higher, all these kind of things really matter.
Now, without giving me the industry talk, I know that you're investing a lot of money. You've been in this a long time and you've been very successful. What concerns do you have, in today's hobby? Because obviously a lot more money means more challenges. We've seen just with fake cards, fake slabs and different things. Are there certain things that keep you up at night, or things within this space that you think, man, we got to root this out? We got to figure this out.
I could write a book on every aspect of the industry, from the good to the bad. So everything from show bidding to this to that, we're going to have a lot more ability. Everybody, it's very quick. You can go online and they're like, oh, they're running a show bidding ring. It's not the case. Okay. Anybody who thinks we're running a show bidding ring, I invite you. You can come interview any of my 35 employees. You can have access to any of our database or files. If you feel strongly about it, you will find nothing, because we're not involved in show bidding directly at all. Now, has an item ever been show bid on our platform? Of course, because we can't control everything, but we will have things in place that will be very protective in terms of the marketplace in here. First of all the bidders are going to have to auto pay for the items on the front end. We will have a thing called super bidder. Anybody who qualifies to be a super bidder will be exempt from auto pay. Now, this is a bidder who we can trace their history. We have proper references on them. And we know that there's no shenanigans going on with the account. All those people will be treated first class, and they will not have to pay auto pay on every transaction. Everybody else will be hit with auto pay.
Okay. So it'll be similar to how eBay switched over, and when you place a bid, they have your credit card there, and it's basically you're agreeing they'll charge your card if you win.
Yeah. So the only thing that eBay is still working on, and it remains to be seen, most of the drama that eBay has currently with unpaid items is related to international accounts, and eBay hasn't rolled out auto pay on international accounts. So we're working on that topic. I don't want to give the specific solutions because once you give the specific solutions, they can then sort of like work around your specific solutions. But we're aware of it, and I'm very, very hopeful that we're going to not have an issue with that at all.
Oh, one question I wanted to ask too, just being a lot of Canadian card collectors out there. I don't know if Canadians can buy on Whatnot. I could be wrong on that, but for live selling, are you guys going to be open internationally or in certain?
Yeah, we're open international, and we currently eBay is not open to international. It's USA only. We feel strongly about 35% of all my consigners are international. So we feel very strongly that our logistics model will be a home run with the international sellers. They love selling. They love, doing all that stuff, but they don't want to be shipping to America. They certainly don't want to be shipping 80 packages, 100 packages, 1,000 packages, 10,000 packages. All day long, we're getting packages in from overseas, from Europe, from Asia, and we expect this to be a very large part of our account. Now, there will be instances, though, where somebody in Japan is going to ship us, and it'll come to America, and then we're going to end up shipping it back to Japan. Like, that will happen, but there's nothing that we can do about it.
So and I don't know if you don't have to answer this necessarily, but to me, it almost feels like, I know there'll be selling fees and everything, but it feels like you guys, even if you take just a tiny little piece on the shipping is going to be a massive profit center, I would think. Or for you, is it more of kind of like not necessarily?
So the way that the shipping is going to be, the shipping is going to be, let's say you want to take advantage of the full 30 days for the shipping, and let's say you win 85 items, right? And the actual shipping cost on the 85 items, sending it postal service ground, is $37.50. Okay. We will probably add anywhere between 15 and 20% to that, and that will be your shipping charge. That will get auto paid, and obviously there's a lot of labor in terms of pulling 37 items and doing all that. So we are charging for shipping and handling, but the profit on that would be very, very small.
So you're doing that more for the convenience to get the users on the site more.
We're doing it because listen, I'm a buyer on all these platforms too. I hate when I go on eBay and I win from 6 different people and I pay 6 different shippings. I would much rather pay one shipping, and get a package from eBay like I get from Amazon. Wouldn't it be nice to get one branded package rather than like this guy and this guy and this guy? It's a bit much. So the cost savings, I would say, we get at least 200 to 300 emails a day of people that are emailing us because of the volume we do in terms of how they can save money on shipping. It's a big thing, so when I was coming up with the concept of this and I was buying some stuff on other people's lives, everything was going through, and especially in the auto pay world that we live in now, on eBay, you're getting hit with shipping, and these numbers add up, so $5 on a $32 card investment, that's a very large percentage of your investment. Whereas if you can lump it with everything else, you can end up paying 30 cents for shipping on that card rather than $5. So there's a tremendous savings.
Absolutely. So yeah, I think it's just going to boil down to, I think, again, the big thing that you had mentioned outside of the shipping is the search function, to be able to go onto the site and very easily get to the Caitlin Clark, as you mentioned, and the Michael Jordan shows, or
you can snipe. So let's say you can't be involved for the Caitlin Clark show. You'll be able to do a max bid snipe. You'll be able to get text alerts. Every item, every auction on the regular platform and on the live will have extended bidding.
Okay.
So there'll be a lot of excitement.
Now,
I would love to have extended bidding on all my auctions on eBay, but we don't have it.
So, okay, let's use the Caitlin Clark show as an example. Will you know? So let's say that show is scheduled for 10 p.m. Are you going to be able to see exactly what's going to be in that show before it happens, so that there'll be a period where everybody can see what's coming,
And then
Okay.
people can make a decision if they want to, we call it the piggyback period, where people want to contact the seller and, Bid as a platform will be promoting all of its sellers who are going to be pre-approved. You can't just jump on there. And we're promoting them all as consigners. So if somebody we can use Des Moines, Iowa again as a good example because that's where she's from. They want to give you a Caitlin Clark card. They contact you directly. You negotiate the rates deal with them. You're going to make a few percentage points. They send you the item, and then you add it to the show. Simple enough.
What about, I guess, buyer guarantees and stuff like that? Will Bid have, kind of similar where you've got, a lot of people buy on eBay just simply because you've got some money back guarantee there if something goes south. Do you have something planned for that?
I mean, there'll be different criteria, meaning like if you have a problem with an unopened case or an open wax box, you need to inspect it beforehand. You cannot just open the box and then get a return. We'll be very, very clear about all the different areas where there's drama in the industry. But we will be inspecting boxes and cases ourselves prior, but we will make it very clear in terms of the criteria that in which cases items will be eligible for return.
Okay. Good stuff, man. I think that I have covered just about all of my questions. Is there anything else that you wanted to throw out there before we wrap? All about Bid or just about the consignment business?
No, so there's just a couple of fun things that we're working on with the project. So, obviously everybody's been to a sporting event, and at every sporting event they're shooting T-shirts into the stands. I think within the next 2 years, every sporting event that you go to, you're going to see some form of live auction at every event. And this is an area that we're, a vertical within our industry that we're going to be very focused on. And we think it's a very exciting thing to, there's a level of excitement when you have the guy shooting into the T-shirt into the stands. It's kind of cool. But, like at the halftime of the Super Bowl, they had Mr. Beast on, doing a session. I could easily see at halftime of the Super Bowl, them running a whole bunch of 1 minute auctions, and the level of excitement, you throw up the barcode there and then boom, everybody's going crazy. So this is an area that we're going to be working on and focused on, and we're pretty excited about it.
Man, you've got some tricks up your sleeve. Rick's been thinking on this. I can tell. This is cool, man. Well, thanks very much for coming on. I won't keep you. I know you're busy. Hell, with all the shipping that you have to do, and now that you're taking on, I'm
personally not doing the shipping. So
yeah. I know you got a team, but still,
I have done it myself. When I started as just me, so I have done all these things. But
I'm sure you get calls.
It would have to be a lot of snow in New Jersey for me to start shipping. So.
Well, thanks, man. I want to have you back on. So this is about 2 to 3 months out, you're estimating, for launch.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're not going to launch until it's, we get everything right. The affiliate marketing actually set us back like 2 months because that was really, really, really a lot of coding to go into building that. But we felt that it was important. But right now they're finishing off payments, and then we're finishing off the front end, and then we're going to be doing tons of testing. And before you know it, boom, it'll be out there.
All right. Well, if you need someone to trial the thing, I'm ready. I'm ready to roll. I'm your man. I'll be one of you.
No, I appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Well, cool. Thanks again, Rick. I appreciate it. Like I said, when you're launching, I'd like to have you back on kind of around that time. That would be really fun.
Sure.
I'm excited to see how this thing goes. And of course, at the National, I'm going to try to, I told Rick before, I've never met him in person because every time I try to see him at the National, it's always 3 or 4 people deep trying to make a deal or talk about cards or whatever. But hopefully we can hang out for a couple minutes.
I appreciate that. And just so there's no confusion, in case you're like, we're still selling on eBay. We're still full go on eBay.
You're not moving off eBay.
This is a separate thing that we're doing. Our relationship is great with eBay. There's no issues with eBay. It's all good. This is just a side thing that we're doing.
Good stuff. All right, man. Well, thanks very much. We will stay in touch. We'll be back again for another episode of the Sports Card Dad. Thanks, guys.
Okay, thanks so much.